Welcome back to the SBI ST-22. I have put roughly 500-ish rounds through the receiver, but that's not anything too specific. It's a 1022, it's going to be durable, and the C71 receiver has been proven in Canada. The big difference is, of course, the charging handle. It has a top charging handle. Now, if you want to see exactly how this works, you can go watch the overview video where I briefly put it together. The gist of it is, it just works with any standard 1022 bolt. If it fits in a standard 1022 chassis or a standard 1022 receiver, it will fit with this. It's very simple, and it is a very clever design. Now, I ran it with two scopes. I ran it with a simple red dot, and I ran it with this LPVO. And I didn't do accuracy testing because accuracy testing is entirely dependent on whatever your 1022 build is. If you have a stock barrel, an aftermarket barrel, what kind of ammo you have. Accuracy is not dependent really on the receiver. It's dependent on the barrel and the ammo more than anything else. So, without further ado, I will start the video. And as you will see throughout these videos, it is obviously light recoiling, but hopefully you can see that it's not nothing. The chassis and the receiver that it comes with give a snappiness that's not too hard, but makes you feel like you're shooting something more than a standard 22. Like, for example, the Rossi Rio Bravo, which I reviewed very recently. That thing felt like an airsoft rifle. Of course, it's a manual action, so you're not going to feel it as much. But this felt like a proper firearm. And it was very easy to operate. The charging handle with both the scope and the red dot, as you can see, worked really well. Now, I slipped grabbing that charging handle there, but it's very easy to operate. Now, one thing I want you to notice with the scope when I have it on. Now, I just have a quick detach scope. It's just a cheap scope with a cheap scope mount, because 22 is totally fine to run that kind of thing. But if you notice, the quick detach latches are on the side of the where the normal charging handle would be, the side charging handle. And that would make it quite difficult to operate that side charging handle because the latches would be in the way. So having the rear charging handle actually makes it much more enjoyable, much easier to pull back on the charging handle with the scope. Now, that won't be the case for everything. If you have a really beefy scope, then you probably won't be able to get enough leverage to pull back on the charging handle. But if you have any kind of high-rise scope, you should have no problem pulling back on the charging handle. And as well, as you will see, I think in either the next clip or the clip after, clearing malfunctions is totally fine. I only had one malfunction with this receiver, and it was the one in, not this clip, but the clip after. Just simple, I think it was a double feed. Pick it up, clear it. The footage here is just me using the charging handle, getting used to it, putting as many rounds through it so I can operate the charging handles frequently as I can. I believe this is the malfunction that I came across. So, didn't go back all the way, pull it back, drop mag. I noticed there was a double feed, pull it back, and good to go. Really easy, really simple to do. easy to keep the rifle pointed downrange. Don't need to worry about fumbling with anything. Now, the chassis, I reviewed it in the C-71 video, but the chassis itself is very nice. I would highly recommend the chassis, but it's not necessary. You can find a few other chassis, quite a few other chassis that are acceptable, that are nice. One thing to note, this receiver, the ST-22, will not work with any chassis that goes over top of the receiver. So, for example, the i3 Armories chassis that I have, that one is a fully enclosed thing, so obviously that one won't work. But the more interesting thing is something like the Midwest Industries AR-looking chassis. That one could be perfect to fit with this receiver, but because the handguard goes over and right to the edge of the receiver here, the extended Picatinny that they have included would make it incompatible. It just won't work. So any of the traditional kind of stocks, any handguard that leaves an exposed barrel at the top should work. But anything with a wraparound handguard or anything that goes over the top here, it won't work. Now, one thing that I didn't notice on the C-71, but I really noticed on the ST-22 is the pistol grip. I found when I was using the side charging handle on the C-71, the A2 pistol grip was fine. No problems. But when I'm using the top charging handle, I found the A2 pistol grip actually kind of uncomfortable because you have to shift your grip a tiny bit in a slightly different way than you would using a side charging handle, and this little extension here was quite annoying. So if you have an ST-22 and do this, maybe look into getting a BCM grip or maybe a Magpul MOEK, I think is the thin one. Basically something that doesn't have this stupid little finger groove. And finally, talk about the price of it. Now, the price of the ST-22 is 300 Canadian dollars, which is, in my opinion, actually really good value because the C-71 is $200. You're getting a much better machined and a much more complete receiver. Like, this is a factory receiver. This is lighter weight. It's better machined. It has integrated Picatinny on the top. It has more easily adjustable V-block screws it comes with. And it has an extended pick rail. Now, the ST-22 comes with the charging handle, and you can get aftermarket 1022 charging handles for like $50 to $100+ more. So really, you're not actually paying that much more for an upgrade receiver because the charging handle is included. And I think, in my opinion, from all the 1022s that I've used, all the different configurations that I've had them in, this receiver has made the biggest change to how I use it. It's, a chassis changes how you hold it. Maybe it changes the ergonomics. Maybe it's more comfortable, but you can get by using something else. The chassis on the receiver on this, the rear charging handle, it really changes the feel of the rifle. It makes it feel like a brand new rifle, and I think I'm confident in saying this is my favorite rifle that I've reviewed. And I think this is the best 1022 receiver you can get, period. It has flaws, namely this and its incompatibility with certain chassis, but that's really the only flaw. And I'm very much looking forward to see if SBI ever, please, listen, make a wraparound handguard that's compatible with this. That would be perfect. But that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. This is probably the last video that I will ever shoot in Victoria. I am probably going to have a few shorts videos that are going to be uploaded over the next couple of weeks. And then we'll see about doing a next recorded video when I'm in Calgary. The exception to whether this is the last video in Victoria or not depends on what happens politically. It's expected that tomorrow, on Wednesday, the cabinet shuffle is supposed to happen. And I'm not going to make a video on that. I'm sure Caliber Mag will make a video on that, so you can check him out, see if he does a video on that. But if the new cabinet minister comes in and wants to immediately start building out CFAC and issuing out OICs, I'll have a video on that if that comes in the next couple of weeks. And that will be recorded here. But otherwise, this is the last review that will be recorded here. If there is a 22 caliber rifle you want me to review next that is currently available, let me know in the comments. And that is it for this video. Thank you for liking, comment, subscribing. Very close to 1,000, inching ever closer. Have a good day.